Good morning. This is Deb Hughes. I'm with the Meet Me on the Steps of Recovery. You know, although I will be talking about recovery, that's not all I'm going to be talking about. In different times that I'm on here with you, I'm going to be talking about things that's going to uplift us. I'd like to hear from you too. I'm even going to give you my post office box so that you can write me sometimes if you like. My name is Deb Hughes. My post office box is P.O. Box 3592, Youngstown, Ohio 44512. Today I want to talk about change in recovery because that's something that a lot of us don't want to do. We just want to live our lives clean and sober. I don't want to use, and all I want to do was not use. And I remember when I first came in recovery, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to not use. What happened though? This is what happened. Someone said in there that we had to change one thing, and that's everything. So that's a scary place to be. It's so unknown. It's so unknown. The first thing I thought about was, oh no, what does that mean? I mean, how do I change? Am I going to make the right change? What do I have to do? I didn't know that the change was going to be God making the change in me. I'm thinking that I had to make all the changes in me. And that was not what I knew how to do, because I've been living like this for a long time, and it's a habit. So the unknown can be so scary. And of course, like everyone else, I didn't want no part of it. But in recovery, if we take the program seriously, then change is inevitable. It's going to happen. I remember coming in the rooms of recovery the first time, that just by my not picking up for so many days or so many weeks, that my thinking started changing. Some of the things that I thought were so necessary in my life, like for instance, keeping the street in me. Just don't use, but keep the street in me, because I thought I needed that to protect me. How crazy that was, but yet and still that's all I knew. We bring us in these rooms with us. We don't change coming in. We bring who we were out there in here. And then if we take this program serious enough, then we'll start to learn in something that's going to help us. It's going to help us along the way. So here I am. I'm sitting here now. And I suppose, with my mind changing experience, there's negative and there's positive. And so, you're going to see you don't see your positive. You're so busy thinking about your negative. Everything that I did so bad out there in the street, well, that's going to have to change. How I talk to people needed to change. How I react to people need to change. How I treat people need to change. That not only that, how I treat myself need to change. Because these things that we carry with us is all the little uglies that's in us. Those are the things that had to change. And when we started working on our change, we can see the beauty part of us too. So see, working these steps is where these things started taking place. And the positive replaced the negative thinking. I have some notes. See, definition for change is to make or become different, to take or use another instead of. So what I was doing, I needed something else to replace my negative behaviors. I needed something else, to use something different, to make it different what my life was like before. And I had to be able to see what it was like before I could make any changes, before anything different can happen. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm all that in a bag of chips. And yet and still, that's not true. And we all knew we wasn't. Everybody else knew exactly what I was while I was thinking I was okay. That wasn't the truth. My thinking started changing as soon as I stopped using. Although not all of it was changing, that's not what was happening. From the way I was living to doing something else. Change. We get serious. When I get serious, I want to hear what's going on in these rooms. I want to hear what this person got to say. I need the people that's whispering in behind me to shh, so I can hear what they have to say. Because this is about our life. And if we don't take our own life serious, we'll lose it. We'll lose it because we'll be back out there using again. So I kept attending the meetings and saying my prayers, which is what I needed to do because the prayers was keeping me clean. I was not using. I was asking God to take the obsession from me and help me to get through the day. And I'd get through the day. So, everything else that they were saying in this program, I was willing to do because I needed my life to change. See, a new way of life to me was, I thought, not using. But a new way of life is changing your behavior. Recovery doesn't start happening until you start to change. And you can't start changing until you start working steps, because the steps will allow you to see your higher power. Your steps to help you decide when you're going to turn your will and life over to him and allow him to do things in your life. The steps is going to help you to do that moral inventory that's going to allow you to see what you look like to him, what you look like to your family, what you look like to other people that's friends, how you hurt them, how you hurt yourself. You need to see that, because if I'm going to live, I've got to see the things that's killing me. And this was so, so necessary. But because of God, I was not afraid to attack this recovery with my whole being. And I started attacking it. Change had to take place. I needed to start getting polite. So I had to get polite and force myself to do something that I'm not used to doing. Know how to say I'm sorry when I don't want to say I'm sorry. Know how to talk to people when I was want to cuss them out. Notice how to apologize. Notice how to say excuse me, how to say thank you. I had to learn how to become a lady. And it was so difficult because I wasn't used to being one. I was used to pretending I was one, but I just wasn't used to being one. But this program is so awesome, and this God in it is so awesome, the God of my understanding. Because I started turning this stuff over to him, and he gave me the courage. Not much, a little bit at a time. I had some courage, and it was enough to get me started and to keep me going. And the results are so amazing and so fantastic. You can find it in these rooms. You need to go to meetings. Please, you guys, don't just stay away from them, because, change in step one is when I had to realize my powerlessness and seek a power. A power that I had to seek was God, where everybody else was saying, God's my higher power. Me too. I'm going with that one, because I don't want to be the one in there and say, well, I'm not using him, when I was always running from him. I was running from him. I told you, he met me at the steps of recovery, and I didn't recognize him because I was too busy recognizing that devil, and I was using him as my God. Dope was my God. Alcohol was my God. Everything was my God. So for me, I had to admit my powerlessness and seek power. God is introduced early in this program. He's introduced in the second step. And in the second step, I'm not going to go through the second step, but it's just I came to believe that a power greater than me could restore me to sanity, and I am insane. I needed that for him. So since people had said they was using God, I want to use God too. And this was my higher power. He became my higher power. I couldn't depend on any change to take place without me putting the work in. Now I got to put the work in. That's what I was telling you about when I was just even saying, excuse me, thank you, please. Those words I never used those. I always thought I can just talk and whatever happened is what happened, and it is supposed to happen the way I want it to happen. But when you get polite and put a little sugar on stuff, people tend to turn towards you, and that's just so great. The way they treat you, it's a whole different thing. I don't have to argue. I don't have to fight with people anymore. All I had to do was be nice, and they would be nice right back. So then this is happening when I took that fearless moral inventory. And when I was able to see all my little uglies, those little uglies that you do, the little uglies that you did, and the big uglies that you did too. The stealing, the lying, the cheating, all of the manipulating, the controlling, all of that. Then the things that we did to get that dope, the things we did to get that alcohol, the things that we did that kept us out there Those are the things that needed to change. And until I could see how they affected other people, what I was doing on them, so I could say, okay, this is what's going on. This is really ugly. This is nothing that I should be doing. And I am so sorry, Lord, that this is what I was doing. I want to change. I don't want to be like that forever. I need you to in my life to change me, Lord, because you are the only one that can. So I'm guilty. I'm guilty, and I realized that I was guilty of all those uglies that I saw. I was guilty of them, and especially how I hurt God. Well, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I got down. I'm ashamed of my life because now I had a relationship with God, and I was able to see that how my life affected him too, because he watched and he was disappointed in me, But I turned everything over to him. I'm so sorry, though, and I'm so glad that I have a relationship with him because he loved me just like I was. He was hanging around me, taking care of me, protecting me, and all that all the time before change. But once I realized how amazing he is, I want to change just for him. And changing just for him makes me want to change for me. See, I want to carry him in my heart because God is love. And I need to have that love. Major change needs to take place. And so we have to deal with issue after issue. You know what your issues are. But sometimes we don't. We don't find our issues until we do the steps. And I can see that this is what I have. This is a problem I have. So all those issues that I was telling you about, my attitude check, how I treated people, those were issues and they needed to be adjusted, and they needed to be checked, and they needed to be changed. And I was able to ask God to work on each one of them one at a time, because he showed them to me one at a time so that I could change, So this is like baggage and baggage and baggage. Those issues were baggage. Past relationships that I'm still not being bothered with these guys anymore, but yet and still carrying this stuff up in my head, carrying this baggage around with me. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary. I can't go on with my life until I free myself of all this baggage. That's why change is necessary. You go from baggage to no baggage. And when no baggage, no bullying, no nothing that you used to do. And your life starts to being free. And you start to feeling real good about today. And tomorrow when I wake up, I'm feeling real good about today. And on the church days, I feel even better about today. Because it's so fantastic and so great. This recovery program is no joke. It really will work. And change is inevitable if you take the time to stick it out. So try it. Try it. And you'll do it. And you'll be free. God bless you. Love and respect.